At this time, head coach Dave Simpson would like to present an honorary quote to Scotland player Susie Oliphant, who yesterday earned her 75 international cap playing for Scotland. Please take off your hats and rise for the Scotland national anthem.
When the night is falling, hear the pipes are calling, loudly and proudly calling down through the glen. There where the hills are sleeping, now feel the blood a-leaping, high as the spirits of the old Highland men. Towering yellow flames,
Welcome back to Netanya, Israel. Ralph Bednarczyk with Steffi Samaras. 5th game of the day and the 3rd day of the knockout rounds. Scotland and Germany getting ready to play for 5th place. In pool play, however, it was Scotland all over Germany by a 16-6 score on Friday. So we'll see how Germany, who's shown improvement recently, with 2 consecutive wins, including a 1-goal game last night over the Netherlands, if they'll be a different team. And in that game, Scotland was able to build up a 7-0 lead before never looking back and winning by 10.
Yeah, so Scotland has developed, actually both of these teams have seen their offenses bloom, and I think that could be what is a determining factor in this game. They both have a strong defense. They both have strong goalkeepers, in my opinion. Draw control and multiple scorers on offense, I think, are going to lead to the win in this game.
On that day, coming out party for Hannah Whiteley of Scotland. She had 5 goals, and the 23-year-old was mentioned by head coach Dave Simpson as he coaches his final game for Scotland before taking over New Zealand coming up for the next World Cup, World Championship cycle. Whiteley had 5 goals. The 23-year-old is going to be a big part of Scotland moving forward. Chloe Carruthers, Charlie Bergquist, 2 goals apiece. So did Oliphant. As we're ready to go, white on black for Germany. Blue over dark green kilt design skirts for Scotland. Underway, Laura Kaczorek. Now for Germany to come up with it. Louisa Beck is in cage again for Germany. She was fantastic last night as the Netherlands had a lot of quality looks at her. That was the 10-20 game last night. Germany back to play at just after 8 o'clock local time, as here is Elena Roth to clear for Laura Kaczorek, and we're underway. Well, the Germans, they would love to close this one out despite their difficulties in Group A, Steffi. They went 0-5. They were not really able to be in any of those games into the second half, but this would give them a really good taste in their mouths about kind of where they rebounded to when you take into consideration where they were, and particularly against Scotland, 16-6, where they were out of that game quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one for them. This is sort of like they need a stamp, and Scotland could be Germany's stamp in this particular case. Big thing I want to mention, Laura Kaczorek has been a huge aspect of the German midfield and their scoring.
Kaczorek lets her rip, and that was kind of part of her coming out party because Kaczorek missed the 2017 World Championships, was on the team in 2013. So somewhat of a fountain of youth, a revitalization for Laura Kaczorek as one of the German team veterans and one of their holdovers from some great days in the past.
And with Kaczorek, you've got Lindberg, which is also, we saw her marked out yesterday. Lisa Neubert.
Here is Anna Blanc. Blanc with Tessa Helf, Laura Kaczorek, the first midfield. Stella Nadig, Nina Lindberg, Lisa Neubert on the attack for Germany.
If Germany can get this offense moving, and we're already seeing the passing that we loved from them yesterday.
Oh, Kaczorek. That's a fine shot of the run. She beats Alex Seidel in goal for Scotland.
And that's that right-hand drive that Kaczorek wants. And I understand that there's 0 angle on the cage, but her release is almost like a sidearm. So she's going to pull that ball all the way across the cage, and she's moved Seidel so much that opposite side corner is open for her.
So for Laura Kaczorek, that is her 10th goal. She's the first German to reach double digits, and Germany scores on their first possession. We get a call against Scotland on the foul, and both teams will be off tomorrow. I would imagine they're, with their plans, probably locking them in here until Friday. So they'll probably enjoy a nice day off, do some team bonding activities, and probably come out and watch some of the games, including third place and first place, with the teams that will finish 5 through 8 with Ireland and Netherlands to follow. They are done 1 day sooner. As Kaczorek whips it back behind for Lisa Neubert. So Germany already having a lead. They did not have that in the game on Friday against Scotland. That was Scotland's breakout game for their offense. And Germany was still in a stage where they were figuring things out. Block, Nadig, and Nadig not in position to catch and or shoot. So here comes Emma Economou for Scotland and Jenny Ayton for the first time. As Ayton will drive. Ayton continues and beats Louisa Beck, tying the score at 1.
Yeah, I don't think you can give Ayton the open field. And it's interesting, I actually was looking at her while Germany was possessing, and there was a defender right on her. When the turnover happened and she cut towards the ball, the defender didn't stand on her. If you give Ayton that open field, she's gonna bob and weave all day.
For Jenny Ayton, that's her team-leading 13th goal. Ayton in that game, that was her breakout game where she became a playmaker. Only 1 goal out of the 16 that Scotland had scored, and the numbers only had her for 3 assists. It was probably closer to 5, and she certainly directly led probably to about 6 assists, whether it's a pass that led to a goal, whether it's counted as an assist or not. And that was the game where Dave Simpson felt that they checked off all the boxes and they had the proper flow and the off-ball movement that they have been looking for. 1-1 game, Germany with possession. Opening quarter, as we're 5 minutes into it, Stella Nadig.
Nadig was another one in Germany's last game that became a big threat offensively. And she has changed the draw control for Germany. She is now self-drawing to herself, and it's making a huge difference.
And particularly Nadig against Austria on Monday. 11-8 was the victory by the Germans. If you know anything about world history, of course, Austria would love to knock off neighboring rival Germany and any athletic competition. In Austria put their hearts into that game, but they just could not get any draws. Nadig was a big factor in that. So here is Stella, free position, shot blocked. Scotland with possession.
And I'll say it again, I love it when defenders get their stick in there and the goalie has to do nothing.
Molly McLean here for Chess Gray. Gray, the quarterback of this Scotland offense. Gray had 3 goals in that 16-6 win.
And this is already so much ball movement for Scotland. If they can keep whipping that ball around.
Space for McLean, and Steffi, it leads to a shooting space.
Yeah, that's quick ball movement with this. It's almost like a hybrid zone man-to-man that Germany likes to play. And they're sliding back down from either low to high or sliding up from high to low. And it causes, with that quick ball movement, the ability to basically pump fake and catch one of Germany's defenders in shooting space.
Gray, tight angle, McLean. And then darting through, there's a pretty bounce shot from Hannah Grant. Gray set it up, and Scotland moving the ball at a higher speed limit.
Yeah, Hannah Grant does a really good job of attacking the seams. When you think about attacking the seams, it's when a team is in a zone, and she caught that ball and went right between the 2 defenders. It makes them have to make a decision. And you sort of saw both defenders sort of go, but nobody really took her. That's why she's wide open.
Grant gets the goal. Scotland, after trailing early, Grant getting her 8th. They have a 2-1 lead over Germany in the 5th place game. 7:37 remaining in the opening quarter. 2-1 Scotland. Jenny Ayton has netted her 13th, and then Hannah Grant got her 8th. Scotland and Germany meeting for the second time, as this one is a draw control taken again by Zoe Dixon. She and Grant will be the primary draw controllers for the Scots. Gray. And backside for Jenny Ayton. And Ayton, Susan Oliphant, turns out of the flag, and she will take herself a free position.
And again, we've got this backer zone from Germany. And again, if you can run and spread your offense out up top.
Oliphant! Well, she just slams it past Beck.
Yeah, that's a great finish on the nonstick side by Oliphant. But if you can spread a zone out up top, that's when you can find the seams.
So Susie Oliphant able to rip that shot. Oliphant also had 2 goals in that first meeting. As Scotland, they would love to get 5th place. Last time in the Euros, they finished 3rd. Germany in 2015, with the Euros taking place in England, they took 6th. Charlie Bergquist. Dangerous check attempted by Germany around the crown of the head by Amelie Peterson. Peterson and Beck, those are the 2 names that most came to mind for Germany head coach Shelby Davis about who improved the most. As you start to think about the meaning of this tournament here for each team, what they accomplished. Here is Whiteley, where they go from here, what they established. Gray, shooting space called as it's whipped around, and there'll be shooting space for Zoe Dixon. And Dixon then loses it. However, a nice job reaching in there by Whiteley. Ayton across with the left hand. Once she gets topside, it's generally over. Ayton second.
And the sweep across the cage. I feel like a broken record talking about it, but when Ayton sweeps across that front of the cage, she's bringing the goalie with her from one post to the other post, and then shooting back at the post that she's just pulled the goalie from. And it's so hard because now the goalie has to step back to that post, although all of their momentum is coming across the cage with the shooter.
14 for Jenny Ayton. Four minutes to go in the opening quarter. Dixon wins it from Natick. Along goes B. Hull. She tried to go one more, and she had the streaking Whiteley. Beck here for Lena Stada. Tessa Held fouled, and she quickly recovers and gets going. Across to Peterson. Yeah, so Peterson and Beck were the 2 players that have done so much. Peterson participating in her first national team tournament with Germany, has been a solid defender. And this was Neubert feeding Limburg, side netting. Battle behind, and Hen Watson is the one that collects possession.
I believe she stepped out of bounds, though.
Oh, that's why, okay. So it is Limburg, who started the last 3 games for Germany. Rolls back. Face dodge through, but Heather McRae not giving up an inch. And after a series of re-dodges, now it's Koshorik driving, and trying to kind of jump and shoot that lefty shot. And that was still off target.
And watch the focus, especially on the Scotland defender that is on the ball. They're going to focus on the hips of the Germany attacker.
And Koshorek, too much on the pass for health. Hannah Whiteley. Whiteley with Peterson falling. Whiteley gets shooting space. Whiteley, who had that 5-goal performance. She'll go down low. Gray is able to put it into the top shelf. Very quick free position. Chess Gray adds another for Scotland. They're off running 5-1.
That's a great finish by Chess Gray down low. And again, Whiteley causes that because she makes the defender down low guarding Chess Gray slide up to her, which causes the free position.
Whiteley, that's her first assist officially. Chess Gray gets her 9th.
90 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Dixon out jumps Koshorek. Oliphant, as she stumbles over. A battle for this ball. Oliphant boxing out on Peterson. Ayton, and she'll pluck that out of the air. And pivots back. Dixon moves it along. Bergquist inside, and Gray couldn't finish it off. The look of the ball moving around. It's as if we're watching the Czech Republic.
Yeah. Swinging that ball.
New goalie in for Germany as Britta Goldenstein has come in. Goldenstein's probably seen about, I'd say, 40% of the action, just a little bit less than Beck. A cut there, Bergquist. And Goldenstein has it. Final half minute of the opening quarter. Germany just looking for a spark. As Lena Stada gets ahead. Outlets for Koshorek. Time for Germany for one look. The cutter, and that was Eula Neubauer. She is wiped out, asking for the foul. And Germany can't believe it. That's it. Germany thought that they were owed a free position. It could have been significant, but it was waved off. So Scotland enters the second quarter still in the midst of a 5-goal run. 5th place game, Scotland and Germany. The Scots with the lead. 5-1 for Scotland. They gave up the first goal, first possession to Laura Kaczorek of Germany, but then Ayton twice. Gray 1-1 during the stretch. And here is Elena Roth coming up with the draw control for Germany. As she goes in on Seidel and she hit the outside post. Good look there from Roth, who is a workhorse midfielder for the Germans. Kaczorek ground ball into Nadig. Man, Germany here, a chance to reset. They haven't had the ball for a long while after scoring the goal, as Lindberg is met at the post.
I thought Germany had some great looks in that first quarter. Finishing is going to be their big key. But when you give Kaczorek an 8-meter, if she can get the ball in there.
And Kaczorek does, and still powers it through. Seidel is shooting very low. The bounce is right around the goal line.
Yeah, it's really hard to play. Does the goalie take a big step and try to trap it in her stick on the ground? Or do you wait for the bounce to come up and off of the turf and try to play it then?
2 goals for Kaczorek. Zoe Dixon, another draw control. B. Hull. Chloe Carruthers for Scotland, as Osamad Hannah Whiteley. 5th place game, Scotland, the 5-2 lead. Germany at 2 and 5. Scotland 3 and 4. Ayton, she had an opening briefly. So Goldenstein, who is a lefty goalie, in there. Grant, shooting space taken away. Stada causes the turnover. She went after the ground ball. They'll go back to Goldenstein. The 7th place game will follow, and that'll be Ireland taking on the Netherlands. The Dutch peppering Louisa Beck last night with a lot of quality chances, and they saw maybe the next level, the Group A goalie. Otherwise, the Dutch, in a lot of ways, had possessions, in some ways outplayed Germany, but the Germany coaching staff was happy they made the little plays at the end. Couple of caused turnovers. They ran out the clock. Tessa Helf looking to step down in the shot. Nadig twirls around. The nice double comes, but still gets away from it. Nice double from Watson, but then Nadig just continued the curl.
And that, the shot off of the back foot as you're fading away from the cage, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it. Okay, I like it when girls are going down to cage and they're shooting with their momentum to cage. But if you can generate power off of that shot, it's so hard to track.
So it's 5-3. This one pops up in the air second time, and Roth, who seems like she can track the ball really well on its way down. Lindbergh, Norbert in position. Norbert, stick save made, Seidel.
That's a big one for Seidel. I actually think the ball movement for both of these teams right now has been pretty fantastic.
You can see the benefit of all these consecutive games.
Yeah.
And what that does is B. Hull gets shooting space. And that's the purpose of it. And Hull the leave here for Molly McLean. Ayton looks inside, has Carruthers. That's a good look. And someday there might be more events, of course, after the Europeans, where maybe you don't have to wait as long for, the next big event. Maybe not as many teams, but certainly 4-team tournaments sometime in the fall to begin the news cycle, to keep up with some of this momentum.
Yeah, there's just not enough lacrosse being played in a lot of these countries where you can come back and be on point game one.
Ayton, and is able to touch it in. Fine shot there, Janie Ayton, and McLean was the last one to touch it to move it along for the assist, and it's 6-3.
And again, this zone defense from Germany, we've talked about this before. If you're going to cover any area of the field in a zone, you need to cover the crease. And Scotland exposed that in Germany's zone right there, because they pass the ball in a box, which is what you want to do in a zone. And Ayton ends up on the crease as her girls slid from low to high, and it's the easy slam dunk.
Ayton has been the beneficiary of some good ball movement. She has 3. Dixon. She's shown some hops here, several jumping draw controls.
Yeah, just as much as we talked about Nadig for Germany coming on big draw control wise, I would say the same thing for Scotland.
Oh, what a look there. Gray over the top found Oliphant. And that'll give Susie Oliphant a free position. Oliphant shoots low. Goldenstein save. Ball is out to Bergquist, but then an overpass. And on the retreat, Rosie Hazel defensively for Scotland. And she's another one of Dave Simpson's young players that he will pass the baton on to the next coach. And there's some nice pieces for Scotland to, again, stay in Group A for the future and continue to build and challenge England and Wales in particular. And the home internationals tournament, Dixon walks in, nice finish. After Ayton recovered it out top 7-3.
Dixon on the move. And again, it's almost like Hannah Grant all over again. When they move the ball that quickly in the zone and you can attack one of the seams, now you're just dodging sticks. You're not actually dodging defenders. And if she can protect and keep her head up and dodge those sticks, you're going to be right on the doorstep of the goalie.
Yeah, Zoe Dixon getting involved offensively. Scotland, and they've seen some of their role players really emerge. That's the second goal for Dixon. Time out of the field, water break midway through the second, and Scotland leads Germany 7-3. 7-3 the score. Scotland after Germany had climbed within 5-3. Dixon, again another draw control. Well, her magnetic energy today has been a bit higher. Hannah Whiteley. And Whiteley stepped into by Blanc, who stops transition for Germany, but they need to find a way to get some stops. Backer zone again for Germany with Anna Blanc being the roving defender. Bergquist. Gray. Oh, nice finish. Stops, plants her foot just outside the crease. Just terrific lacrosse.
Yeah, and it's the same ball movement that they used on the Ayton goal. If you can shift that all the way around and get that zone defense shifting to the point where the ball is ahead of the shift, then you're going to find somebody wide open on the doorstep.
5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first half.
Gray, 2 goals. And Germany has already changed goalies and defenses, trying to find a way to slow down Scotland. But as we noted, imagine if there was a little bit more lacrosse leading into, or more practice time leading into these tournaments, because now we're really seeing some teams. Yeah, there's teams that have lost, but you could see the improvement and how much more well-oiled they are and how much more better prepared they are to compete with some of the better teams.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a great challenge for the European teams and most of the teams.
That's a soft shot from Dixon. Took a little off. And Zoe Dixon. And this has been a complete game for her. 9-3 Scotland. And we're about to hit the 4-minute mark.
You know, with the European teams going into the Worlds in 2 years, and countries like Canada, US, and Australia, those kids are playing year-round. And I think that's some of the conversation that we've had with England, Wales, Israel, Scotland, Ireland. You know, how can these teams consistently play, whether they're playing with their country or they're just playing with their university, but the play is so dramatically more in those other countries that they need to almost equal it.
And Germany has made great strides there with their club system. And at the university level now has great layers to it. There's a lot of young Germans playing. So from a numbers perspective, looks like Germany is there. They have a U19, of course, that's going. They have a developmental team, essentially a B squad, and call that, let's say, numbers 19 through 40. They even brought 3 alternates with them to travel and having the luxury to do that. They are the only team that has that. As here's the ball back behind. Dug out Gray, snatched up in the air. Bergquist, that one pinged out by Goldenstein. The save, but then Bergquist landed in the crease. So Britta Goldenstein will have it. It appears Germany, within their own bubble, has set themselves up for success. But it may take yet another cycle.
Yeah, you bring up the word cycle, and it's, you know, we're on these 4-year cycles, or even a 2-year cycle for the Europeans with regards to when the Europeans happens for the World Cup. So you have the World Cup, 2 years later you have Europeans, 2 years later World Cup, and so on. So now with Europeans being a qualifying event, you got to be on your mark all the time.
Anna Blanc. And you can't just send a half roster of players for experience. Now, maybe some of the top-level countries might consider that, but teams in the mid-level really need to push it. Blanc, oh, nice overhead rip.
Oh, that was a scorcher of a shot. Weak side. Right over the left shoulder of Slidell.
Ninth goal for Blanc. She's just behind Kushorik and Germany's scoring lead for this tournament. Well, about to hit 1 minute of this first half. And eventually, could there be some kind of a smaller reserve team tournament?
1 minute remaining in the first half of the game. 1 minute remaining.
Natick. England has a U23 team, so there are some possibilities and some things in the works. And then the growth that we've seen from the developing nations, such as Sweden, Spain, and they're just showing you that with each passing day, it's possible that they can get better here in a 10-day window. What can happen with just some more players playing a little bit more, and all of a sudden, they're playing competitive games against some of the name brand teams.
Yeah, and that's what I think they're going for.
Pass across. Grant had it at her feet. Lisa Neubert, as she reached down low to get it, but it'll be Seidel that has it. To conclude the first half, Germany had cut it to 2 before another late push from Scotland, and they've made it 9-4 at the half in the 5th place game. It'll be the Netherlands and Ireland still to come tonight at 10:20 to decide 7th place. We'll be back in 15 minutes. 9-4 Scotland, leading Germany. 5th place game to follow. We still have one more game at 10:20 local time. It'll be the Netherlands battling Ireland for 7th place. Ralph Bednarczyk with Steffi Samaras. Germany with the first possession, Elena Roth. Germany has not been able to get anything in transition yet. Roth. And then Roth is stood up there right at the edge of the 8-meter, and Emma Economou, solid play. Charlie Bergquist here for Scotland. So for Scotland and Coach Dave Simpson, everything has gone well, very fluid. You forced Germany to change defenses. Now they're in a man-to-man. Britta Goldenstein came on late in the first quarter. As they finish this off, anything for Scotland that the second half could hold for them to check off this last box?
I think for them, it's about making the small mental errors. You know, we've seen their crisp passing sometimes take a deep dive, and the unforced errors for them is when teams have climbed back up on them. And I like what Germany's defense is doing. They're really taking away the cuts, and they're focusing on these one-on-one drives and stepping out and making the Scotland attackers have to really build some steam to pass them, which is very hard to do.
Bergquist, as she turned back, good defense there by Germany, and Miriam Rockroar. Ayton. Ayton ducks through, has another one. That circle, you just know it's coming, and yet so difficult for teams to stop. 4 for Ayton.
And not only that, but she reads the goalie so well and puts the ball opposite side high of her stick. And that's, when you can have that type of placement, it doesn't matter that there's a defender guarding you.
Ayton has been sizzling. I think she has hit all 4 of her shots tonight. 2.5 gone third quarter. Germany puts up new draw controller Laura Eversmeyer. Ayton, though, comes up with it outside their straining line. And Scotland in some rhythm. Gray, chased by Unlu. McLean passes and moves. Bergquist taken off the angle. Bergquist.
Look at how Chess-Gray plays. Chest up, head up. She's doing such a good job. She's got her stick in this triple threat position, ready to do anything. And I love the dodge and re-dodge on the crease, making her defense have to stay focused the entire time.
And she's part of the sharpness here for Scotland. This ball, though, into the mixer of players at the top of the crease and the recovery there. And Scotland is on these early loose balls and wearing down Germany with this offense. 4 minutes in to the third quarter. Scotland's already added another. Whiteley down to the crease. Quick stick missed. That was Chess-Gray. And there for backup is Roth.
You know, that Chess-Gray is getting involved on the crease, which when you go back to the one-on-one, it's going to be interesting because now she's going to be able to sizzle and stuff, and you still see the ball movement. The difference that Scotland needs to make when Germany's in a one-on-one is that instead of attacking in a sweep, you have to go straight to the goal. Take the straight line to cage instead of taking that curling line on the crease.
Scotland continues to come at Germany. They pick up another ground ball right at the restraining line. Chloe Carruthers will have it. And off it goes to Ayton, and back to work is Scotland. Rather, this is Whiteley. She turns. Shooting space is the call. Scotland's tournament high for goals was 18 against Norway in their first knockout round game. Whiteley, and there's Goldenstein, and she's able to pin it down to the turf. Six minutes gone, third quarter. Germany has yet to get a real settled possession going. They had it early with Roth. That's been it. We have a whistle just as Germany crossed the restraining line. So Roth steps in before she's challenged by Bergquist and then just threw it away. Lindberg never went to meet the ball. And Germany with an unforced error, a frustrating one here, trailing 10-4. Bergquist wheels it on the money to Carruthers. Ahead it comes as Whiteley avoided a collision and then takes it in with fire. Whiteley almost ran into an oncoming train. She may have never even have seen it. On that pass that looped in the air, Whiteley adds another goal. It's 11-4 at the water break with 7:59 to go in the third quarter. Hannah Whiteley, part of Scotland's future. We have a timeout on the field. After the water break, good battle for the ensuing draw control, and it is Eversmeyer for Germany, who's seen some limited action. Just in the center, but then the ball does not connect with Nadick. And here comes Hull. Will now get a run on the attack for Scotland. She's another young player that just graduated university that Scotland will build with. They lead 11-4. 7.5 left, third quarter. Cut to Ayton. Hull tried to sneak the pass through, and Germany saw it coming.
You know, we're starting to see a lot of unforced errors from both of these teams. And I can't help but say that unforced errors sometimes lead to these momentum shifts. So depending on what Germany can do with this, we might see a bit of a shift in momentum.
Lindbergh. She had a cutter there. That would have been Nadig in position to shoot. New goalie in for Scotland. That's how much Scotland has had the ball. Just to mention Felicity McCallum, after Alexandra Seidel started and finished. She is a university student in Scotland, but she's from the United States and someone else that Scotland will have to build. They have two young goalies that are both young enough. They're going to be around for at least another 4 years should they choose to. And Scotland, yet another one of these countries that is solid in net. How about Alexandra Seidel's first European championship?
You know, she's done really well. She's been able to hold her stance in cage, which is really hard to do, especially when she gets pulled. She's come up with the big saves. She's probably made wrong steps on what is considered some of the simple saves. And McCallum is a force in the cage, you know. I think that most coaches like the bigger goalie just because of what they can do. Both offer a stick outside the crease. I actually think McCallum does a little bit more outside the crease than Seidel does. But you're going to want to continue to develop two goalies. And, you know, with this goalie duo award we have coming up, although I don't think that they're as much in contention as the Czechs, the Germans.
Several others, Norway.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of different ways to measure it, of course, and relative to competition, too, because it's very easy to just give all the awards to Group A teams.
Yeah.
And no one likes that. And that's just not interesting.
And we're here to have some fun.
11-4. Final 5 minutes of the third quarter. And this has been a fun tournament to see Scotland evolve. Germany has some things that they can feel good about, but ultimately it's a very high standard that they have. Health ripping. Wide of McCallum. And all the way in the corner, Alicia Lawson will chase it down. Yeah, Alex Seidel is a mechanical and electrical engineering student at the University of Edinburgh, but played at the Rivers School in Massachusetts. So she will be a part of Scotland moving forward. Felicity is a student at Harriet Watt University in Edinburgh, and her family is from the Inverness. Takeaway by Goldenstein as she outlets ahead. And that's the good news for the majority of these countries. Goaltending can be a hard position to develop. Now they have multiple goalies in the pipeline. Some of the developing countries are still trying to get there. And that's a pass that Eula Neubauer just short-hopped Helf on against the Ride of Scotland with 3.5 left in the third quarter.
And these are those unforced errors. We just talked about this about 5-10 minutes ago. On both teams, it's not just Germany with the unforced errors, but we haven't seen a smooth attack run. We haven't seen necessarily a good shot option.
Handle outside, Grant. Someone else that gets big credit too for Scotland in their play against Germany. Of course, you connect all the dots. And that's Lauren Gowers, assistant coach for Scotland, and head coach Dave Simpson. And she has great knowledge of Germany. She's played there. I think she had lived there. So Gowers had a very good feel for Germany for both games in terms of personnel. So that is always an added bonus with all these games coming one after another with not as much time as you would prefer to prepare for a game when you think about what it is. And let's say at the U.S. college level.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to bring up is this is potentially the first time that some of these girls are watching film on themselves and film on other teams. This is the first time that all of these games have been recorded.
Yep, and they're going to live forever, so we've been watching what we're saying, Steffi.
Yes, we have.
Up ahead, takeaway. Final 2 minutes, third quarter. Oliphant, Whiteley, tough grab, then knocked away from behind by Rockroar, and then somehow it went in.
I believe she just tried to pass it back to her goalie, and the goalie had already moved out from in front of the net.
So that'll be the third own goal of this tournament, scored by a team. So it's 12-4 Scotland. And the Scots not celebrating. No one really in position to even try to swing at it, so it will be officially called as an own goal. .40 seconds left, third quarter. Oliphant. With a half minute left, the clock will stop on any whistle. Scotland has added 3 more. One was a gift. Gray. Oliphant looks for the rollback left, then the big step. Short time, and backup belongs to Germany. Now, how about Lena Stada? Been impressed with her as a lone defender as Stada throws it ahead, but that's the end of the third. Scotland comfortably in front of Germany in the 5th place game, 12-4. We're back with the fourth quarter. Scotland added 3 more in the third quarter. And they look to close out Germany and take care of 5th place in the Euros. They finished in, it was 5th place, I believe, that in 2015 in the Euros. There's a quick shot and a goal. Another one. Whiteley gets it, and it'll be 13-4.
Whiteley's done such a good job this, the last 4 games of being this offensive power. And I think that's taken a lot of the stress away from Ayton. Whiteley, B. Hull. They've spread this love. And not only that, Whiteley's actually lining up behind the restraint line, not even on the circle. So I wonder if Dave Simpson's made some changes and he's potentially found this new fun position for Whiteley.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for the next coach, whoever that will be, as Dave Simpson again, he's going to be the new head coach of New Zealand for this next cycle ahead of 2021. As back behind here is Hull. Simpson makes his home in California. Whiteley, shooting space. And she was bearing in on Blanc. There's some talent here for Scotland. Whiteley, nice stick fake. She's got 3, 14-4 Scotland.
It just seems like she's in the groove. I don't know if the first game or 2 of this event she would have pulled that type of a stick fake and finished that way.
Just 23 years old is Hannah. And you have some real options with her, but midfield is where she's played a lot too. But a sports science graduate, about to start a master's in nutrition, and she'll be at the University of Glasgow in her first European Championship. Draw control again to Scotland. Molly McLean is fouled.
Molly McLean and Hen Watson have been killing it on the draw for Scotland tonight.
And Zoe Dixon.
Well, Zoe Dixon with the self-draw, but Molly McLean and Hen Watson on the circle.
Oh, there's another one. Goldenstein would like to get that one back. That's Bergquist. And it's 15-4. And we're going to get a goaltending change. And Louisa Beck will come in perhaps to finish this one out for Germany. So Goldenstein is done as she played 2 full quarters and parts of the first and fourth. When I asked Shelby Davis about Beck and being one of her probably 2 most improved players along with Amelie Peterson, the defender, Beck, especially after the World Championship, about the last year and a half, has taken off. So this is another appearance for her to further cement her status. Outside, here comes Anna Blanc. Felicity McCallum came on in the third quarter, and Germany has yet to score. They got to within 5-3 before Scotland got in such a groove.
And they're going to have to start to speed things up a bit. Down by 11 with just under 11 minutes to go.
Throw over the top, Neubert. Pass was there. Good look inside by Ricarda Graber. Yeah, Scotland raced forward. And that pass for Bergquist is off of Gray. These teams only have rosters of 18. That's what the number is capped at, so you don't have a chance to sub in entire second units. And now Germany just loses this ball on an unforced turnover. Leah Gunkel has come in for the first time defensively in the final 10 minutes. Hull, Bergquist.
You know, the risky chances that Scotland are taking on Cage, that would potentially be a goal if it was actually on Cage. And I think that Bergquist saw that she had backup behind the cage. And sometimes it's just like hip, hip, let her rip.
Carruthers. McLean raced ahead. Just enough interference run by Carruthers there to spring Molly McLean forward, 16-4.
And that was like a really early X cut, and McLean was coming in with so much speed. You know, the shifting that's happening defensively for Germany is a lot of deer in headlights. They're turning and they're seeing the ball, but they're not reacting, and that's part of the shooting space call. And because they're not reacting, that they're stuck in that lane to Cage.
Under 9 minutes to go. Roth, she was in position for the draw control. Kaczorek has not had a chance to really keep Germany in the game with the amount of defense Germany has had to play.
And the solid defense that Scotland is playing. And again, it's a great move by Health passing the ball to Kaczorek because Molly McLean had shifted low to help the ball. And then you get the shooting space violation.
Kaczorek passed it up. Maybe wasn't quite ready for it.
And this
it was
is
a
where
wide open crease.
This is where putting the ball on the ground and allowing everything to be set up will benefit Germany in the future. The officials probably assume that Kaczorek is set there. Meanwhile, there was a sub for Germany.
Yeah, the backside with the officials having their backs turned. And then here's a takeaway. Alicia Lawson. Lawson got it ahead to Hull. 7 minutes left. Scotland in both games against Germany here at the Euros, they've scored 16 goals. Germany participated this year in the Home Internationals tournament, which is always an April event. England, Wales, Scotland, those are the staples. The fourth team is always by invite or availability. Bergquist from Molly McLean, 17-4.
I'm just so impressed with the way that Scotland is moving the ball. It's so much fun to watch when ball movement, you know, I say that it looks easy. And I don't know if it necessarily is for Scotland, but they are making it look easy.
6:24 to go. We'll watch them close this one out following the fourth quarter water break. 6 minutes and change left. 17-4 Scotland as they win the draw control all the way inside their own defensive end. Janie Ayton had a good start to this game, scored 3 of the first 6 goals for Scotland. Offsides against Germany. Yeah, Ayton had 3 of the first 6. And Scotland has really never looked back from late stages of the second quarter where they opened up a 9-4 halftime lead. And they right now are pitching a shutout in the second half in a 5th place game. And that could really be something. Gray, across! Oh, what a finish! Hannah Grant able to jump up, get it. The equivalent of a slam dunk from the middle of the lane in basketball. 18-4.
The ball was maybe in her stick for a second, collecting it and then shooting it. And it's almost like she twisted her body so awkwardly to get the ball to go opposite post, low. Whew. I'm upset that this is Scotland's last game. I want to watch them again.
Yep, and I think Dave Simpson probably feels like, you know what? The way we move the ball now, you'd love to get another look at Wales, England, Israel.
Yeah.
To see where you stack up, but that is not the reality. Procedure was called against Scotland. So here comes Nadig. Takes the shot over the top of McCallum. I believe Gray had the assist on that Grant finish. 2 for Hannah Grant, so she has 9. Tessa Health. 4 minutes to go. And into the Worlds. How about Scotland? First, we'll need to find out who their new coach is, but it appears Scotland, they have some personnel. There's Health from Neuberts. And there is the first goal of the second half for Germany.
Yeah, that, you bring up a really interesting point. The new coach for Scotland.
It's certainly an attractive job. It's got a lot of history to it. And into the next cycle, Janie Ayton, still in her mid-20s, I believe she's 25. Whiteley just 23. The defense, Molly McLean is a young player. Now procedure called against Germany. I think Nadig was not quite set and moved.
Yeah, but thinking about this coaching position and what Dave Simpson has done for this team, then you have to think about where's the next step for Scotland, and how do you build on this and what they've done. The new coach could have completely different offenses, completely different defenses, which is necessarily not a bad thing. But with how they've played here, especially to end this event.
Well, the film will be worth looking at.
Yeah.
Ayton. Yeah, we'll see if Scotland brings in someone that's familiar with the team. And here is a collision here in the final seconds. Oliphant. And fortunate that did not end up worse with 2 minutes and change left. Clock stoppage for both players to regroup. Stella Nadig in that collision with Oliphant. Oliphant, free position. And she'll likely just go here with 2:15 left at 18-5. This was a pretty competitive game, early second quarter, 5-3. But the string of possessions that Scotland put together was as long of a run as we've seen here in the Tanya as Louisa Beck out of cage. The 9 unanswered goals by Scotland, similar to the run that they had in a 16-6 game against Germany. But they started that game on Friday, 7-0, before the Germans were able to battle back and get some goals, but ultimately it was way too big of a deficit. 7-1 at the half there, and 16-6 was that final as Unlum is in. Today, even more balance. Ayton has 4, and a multitude of 2-goal scores for the Scots. We get a foul as Ayton fouled Sinem Unlu. Unlu probably back to practicing. She is a doctor, as there are several littered through the rosters of these teams here at the Euros. Some tremendous people that participated in this event. As we're about to say goodbye to Scotland and Germany, half minute to go. Charge called against Tessa Health, and Scotland can run out the clock. So Scotland in good hands for whoever will take it. Of course, the home internationals supplies them with a very nice base of consistent play. Germany with their league, they even have an indoor women's league that's getting going. So lacrosse is played there often. Grant, a shot that makes it 19-5. And Scotland, they look like they have just had so much fun playing at this higher level.
Yeah, and that becomes infectious. When you can play at this higher level, and it's, you want it more and more and more and more. And I hope that Scotland can take that forward with them, because this group out here for Scotland right now can do some really awesome things if they can continue to play together. They've shown that from a defensive standpoint to an offensive standpoint, the draw control, the transition.
Dixon, one more draw control for Scotland. Scotland will finish in 5th place at the 2019 Women's European Lacrosse Championship with a convincing victory, 19-5 over Germany. The Germans finish up with a record of 2-6. Jenny Ayton, 4 goals to pace Scotland. Hannah Whiteley added 3. Hannah Grant also added 3. Scotland celebrates the victory. Germany, and they will certainly be back in Group A for perhaps the World Championship, or at the very least Group B, but certainly the next Euros for the next cycle with what they have in terms of their infrastructure. Laura Kaczorek, as she led Germany with 2 goals today, and for the tournament, Kaczorek will end up being as Germany's leading scorer. She finishes up her time in Israel with 11 goals. For Steffi Samaras, I'm Ralph Bednarczyk saying so long and goodbye. There's one more game on this 3rd day of the knockout round. 7th place will be decided between Ireland and the Netherlands. That game should get started. It was listed for 10:20, might be a few minutes sooner than that, perhaps at 10:15 Netanya time. Until then, we say goodnight.